Hello, welcome to the third StreetZips official ghost investigation. I'm still working on number 2 yet, that's why it's not uploaded. This third investigation was at Bodmin Jail. It was on the 19th of October, and it was a good night, as you'll see on the video shortly. It's quite a long video, so get some popcorn or something and put your feet up, but enjoy.
But it's great to have you all here for our first haunted sleepover, and I just really wanted to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you for your fundraising efforts. We've got 2 of these nights booked now, and we're hoping that between the 2 of them we'll be able to raise about £6,000, which will be enough for us to rescue a new monkey who's been abandoned, which will be fantastic. So without your support and your fundraising, we couldn't do it. So thank you, and I hope you have a fun night. And fingers crossed it'll be action-packed.
Wow.
Put her in there. Well, it can't that way.
Wow.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark. I'll be your host for the night. I'm the jail's representative. I host all the paranormal events and look after the groups that come here. I've been working here for 7 years now, just purely doing the paranormal side of things. So what I'm going to do in a moment is take you off, give you a workshop and a tour around the building, show you where all the holes are, where the mud is, things you need to be aware of throughout the course of the night. Then we're going to come back here. There'll be tea, coffee and hot chocolate for you over here. While you're doing that, I'll get all the lights turned out in the building, and then we'll get stuck into it. We'll take you into what we call the long room, which is this room here, okay, where I shall do some workshops with you. We'll be sensing energy, your auras if you like. We'll be sensing each other's. Then I'll connect you with the environment, the jail, and then from that we'll do a massive walk around as a big group. We'll do the naval prison outside, we'll come back, we'll all squeeze into the basement at that point, which will be quite cosy because of the size of it, okay? And then we'll come back from that. By that time we're cracking on for about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we'll divide you up into 2 groups. Okay, one group you will go away with my friends here from Soul Services Cornwall and do some practical stuff with you, glass work. We don't do the Ouija board. I don't use the Ouija board in this jail, but I do use a table and a glass, and we do some classic yes/no stuff with that. We've got another table on wheels, which is quite interactive and sprayed with glow-in-the-dark paint now, so you can actually see it coming based on the old table tipping routine that we did. I thought we'd liven up a bit, put caster wheels on the bottom and see what happened. And it does get the roar off down the room with you attached to it, so it's quite interesting. During that time, the other group will be with me upstairs on level 4, where we're going to talk the universe, metaphysics, how we work as human beings. We'll do some transfiguration stuff with you in the window. We'll try and get you manipulated by the spirits and moved around. We'll do some stuff with vision, how we work. And by that time, it's silly hour of the morning, and we'll come back together and we'll probably get the table going. You will have time to roam. This is not a really structured night. It is a charity event. It's supposed to be fun. Okay? Okay? And it's on the word fun, because if you get bored, miserable, tired, your energy takes a dip. And we need your energy to interact with the energy in the building, which generates the activity that we experience here. Okay, so there's plenty of fun, there's loads of room. We can quite easily lose all of you in this jail. There's 5 floors to work with inside this building here, and then there's the outside naval prison as well. Alright, so there's 4 or 5 of our team.
We've got 5.
There's 5 of the team, so later on if you want to go dividing off and lock yourselves in cells and various things, you're more than welcome to grab a team member and disappear.
Right.
Some of the girls won't mind that at all.
Well, we lock people in.
So we're into the boring health and safety aspects, really. If the alarms go on inside the jail here during the course of the night, please make your way to the door that you came in at the side of the jail and head up to the top car park. I am the guy with the key, so I'm responsible for your safety and the building as well. Okay, so any problems throughout the night, come and find me. Okay, I've got the key to the main gate, because if the alarms go off, I'll be going up there to open the gate to let whatever services we need come in. Alright, there are various uneven places in here, steps to be aware of and things, so please, if you go roaming off, use your torches when going from location to location. I've got 2 movement sensitive lights now. One is in the entrance way that you came in, the other one is up the corridor by some steps. I put that there because her mother decided to walk off the steps one night. Even though we said use your torches when you move, she flew off the top of the steps. She bless her. Okay, so now I've got a movement sensitive torch up there which will show you where the steps are before you fall down them, hopefully. Okay, I will do a tour for you, give the history of the thing. We won't go too much into the world of the paranormal initially during the history tour, because that leads into the realms of auto-suggestion, which I don't do because I'm sure there's a few skeptics out here which will go, oh yeah, he told us all about it. Alright, so I want you to experience the building as it is, okay, and whatever you pick up in each location. Okay, you're an interesting mix of people, I can tell. Okay, so later on when we do my workshop, we'll be talking about body language, how we can read people, how little clues give you some idea of how you work as human beings. Okay, because we've probably got a good mix here of believers, skeptics, scientists, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so that's quite nice, because we need a mix of that kind of energy, really. Alright, especially something. Yeah. This is your crew room. All your bags and goodies are quite safe in here. You won't have to carry them around with you all night. We're the only ones on the site. The staff have gone. The main gate is going to be locked. It's just us. Okay. The most important bit on this floor, level 2, is the toilets. Straight down the corridor. There's the steps. Last room on the right hand side. Okay. There's only 2 of them, unfortunately. So if you all go at once, it's going to be quite cute.
Well, they can pole dance while they're waiting.
Yeah.
Just poles about.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what they're putting there, some kind of display or something, but they've managed to put the poles in, which are quite nice. You can use practice your pole dancing when you're up there. The current BBC health and safety regulations, I must warn you that the water in the urn is hot. Please don't burn yourself on the water, okay? Hopefully we'll change your perspective on things by the morning, okay, purely because of the way that we work. Okay, we're not here to brainwash you. I'll explain how the world works. It's up to you guys at the end of the day. Like I say, last night I had plenty of potential. I had 17 nurses here on a hen night, and just me. I thought, oh, yes. Unfortunately, they were mature nurses, so they were hardcore. They knew everything about everything. They had an answer for everything that I mentioned. I had a real strange mix of ophthalmic surgeons, physiotherapists, you name it, they could do it. And basically everything I talked about in the world of paranormal, they knew a different technique for, or a different answer. Which is fine, but it just meant for a very long event. Shoulder, and she whispered in my ear, I must warn you, I'm a bit of a screamer. I went, well, thanks for that. Yes. Are we going down in the basement? Well, I'm keen if you are. Yeah, so I think when I retire, you see, I can write a book and I've got all these little quotes I can use. Yes. Some of them are worse than that, but there we are. They were all supposed to be harmless, these comments, but they are quite fun at the time. Okay. So, you'll need your torches with you. Okay, we're going to go outside, back into the fresh air. We'll start our tour off at the main gate of the top of the yard, and I'll take you right there.
Yeah, and I've got a thyroid, it makes me hot. It's I'll probably be too hot. I'll take my shirt off.
Welcome to Bodmin Jail. We will be here right through until 7 AM for breakfast. I know some of you aren't staying for the breakfast, which is fine really, because many nights I've spent slumped into my plate. in the early hours of the morning going, oh, breakfast. This jail was originally constructed in 1779 and was a replacement for the old dungeon cells that we had up in the castle up in Launceston. They were kind of medieval in design, big open rooms, straw on the floor, lots of people. And unfortunately, if you confine lots of people together, various diseases will spread, and a lot of them didn't make it. So they decided they needed a new county jail. So this one was built here. It was designed by an engineer called Sir John Cool. He did his basic training out in India, building the forts for the army. So he built a lovely jail. It was modern, state-of-the-art. It was built under what we call the Prison Reform Act. It was designed for one person per cell. They had a heating system built in and a lighting system, gas lamps as well. But it wasn't very secure. This is the southwest. It's a bit more laid back in this part of the world. People were hopping over the walls and disappearing. You could have paid the staff and they would have let you out for the day. And the whole system didn't really work. We have a classic tale of one of our prisoners. He was given £5, he went up the town, he got blindingly drunk, and in the evening he came back. Okay, so it was that kind of laid back. So they decided it wasn't working, so they would rebuild here. At that point they knocked down one of the buildings at the front of the jail. They used the stone from that building to increase the height of the walls. You can see where this wall is perched on top of the original one. Stop people getting onto the building, which used to be here, and then hopping over the wall and disappearing. That wall is about 7 feet to the road on the other side. Okay, so it wasn't much of a leap if you could get onto the building that used to be here. The front of the jail, the wall is about 25 feet high. One of my prisoners jumped over that wall, and then they found him crawling his way up the road with 2 broken legs, so he didn't get very far. But they rebuilt the whole system at that point. They started to pay the staff properly. As a prisoner, when you came in here, you stayed in here. This jail was a short-term jail, so maximum sentence here was 2 years. Anything above 2 years, and they sent you over to Dartmoor for out on the moors. So it is good for us in the paranormal world because we have a massive turnaround of people, sort of 1 month's hard labour, 2 months hard labour. So a massive turnaround of people, massive turnaround of what we call trauma, stories, and energy. We'll talk more about how we connect with that later on. Some of you will anyway throughout the course of the night. You may not be aware of it at the time, but it'll be quite interesting for you. The jail itself stayed operational right through until 1929. At that point it was decommissioned because there wasn't enough prisoners to keep in here and it was costing too much money. It was left derelict after that for numerous years. People would come in here, help themselves to doors, windows, slates, whatever they needed really. We've got 32 of our prison doors just over the road. The gentleman built himself a garage with them. And he said they can have them back for a ridiculous amount of money, and we need to build him a new patio and all sorts of stuff. So we're not worried really. They've been outside there since 1933, so they're fairly gone now. It was eventually sold up in Exeter at auction, and the guys that bought the place were intent on demolishing. At that point we lost the roofs off of the main naval prison, the civilian wing, the medical wing itself was pretty much destroyed at that point. And then after that it was left derelict again. They tried explosives to reclaim the stone and failed. There's over 20,000 tonnes of granite on this site, all held together with a lime mortar. It's chemically bonded itself to the stone and it just shattered. They couldn't reclaim it, so they just left it. It was left that way for numerous years. It was reactivated briefly during the First World War when we had German naval officers here as prisoners in the naval prison itself. There was a guy, he was an Oberleutnant Goebbelsschlaus, which is a lovely German name, but he was writing letters from here home to his father in Germany, and the records have just come up in Richmond, so we know he was here. After that, they reactivated the place again during the Second World War. We had all the troops from the garrison in Bodmin moved to the jail at the start of the war, and they said on the pretext that they didn't want the garrison to get bombed and all the troops to get killed. In reality, we had a train pull up outside here one day with 14 carriage loads of state papers from London. In amongst those was the Doomsday Book, and there it would appear we had the crown jewels for the first 2 days of the Second World War. Yeah, this is our fully operational execution shed. We use this in the summer to scare tourists and school parties. They love it because the school curriculum has changed now. They actually do Victorian discipline and correction stuff, so it's great. So we have this working execution pit. So we do run-throughs for them during the summer. Because nobody's daft enough to stand on there, I get roped into it, literally. And I have to stand in the middle there while they do a run through of how it works. We do have the two trap doors connected to the original lever that was used here at Bodmin on the right. The pit itself is 13 foot 7 deep, it's a quicklime pit. The trap door is open at the moment at the back. Things like the medical officer would go down there to check the body to make sure life is extinct. And then they would use block and tackle here at Bodmin to recover the body, where it was placed on the trestle table, taken into the room behind me, coated with lime, placed in a wooden coffin, and then buried in the prison garden, which is through the doors at the far side there.